Fear Japan. Who is better? Let's see.
China and Japan are the dominant Asian powers. They
They're
have
rivals,
been
bro.
beefing for centuries
They
at
are
this
so
point.
rivals.
But for the past
Yeah,
couple of
that's right. They
centuries,
are beefing
China
for
was at a
centuries.
disadvantage because Britain made them addicted to opium
Who the
and
fuck is
basically
this?
destroyed them along with other European powers during the Chinese century of humiliation. And Japan got the sun dropped on them twice. Both of them have gotten cooked, but Japan has gone from producing the world's most brutal soldiers to making Nintendo and Naruto. That's a very, very good.
I know Japan is making animes and games, but let's just see.
Glow up. And China went from a rural, broke dictatorship to being ruled by the man with the most aura since Stalin
Xi Jinping.
and becoming the factory of the world and having the
The
craziest.
Chongqing right here, it's like the, I don't know, in my opinion, it's like the cyber city of China.
Looking most cyberpunk cities
You
in the
see?
world. And
You
to
see?
signify the point system and which one is winning, each country's leader will progressively get more of a Chad face as they gain points. Both of these countries love overworking their people, such as the infamous 996 in China, where you have to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Now, that is just the average work schedule in Eastern Europe, but it might be shocking to a lot of people. What else do you do all day? You barely have time for sleep. Exactly. Good. There won't be any time for you to start getting
That's so
first world
stressful,
thoughts,
bro.
such as sadness or whatever Sigmund was talking about. And honestly, in this category, both these countries are tied because Japanese people are notoriously overworked. Karoshi is a
Yeah.
Japanese word meaning
I mean-
death from overwork.
I mean,
and
like-
seeing tired, passed out businessmen in Japan
yeah,
is
I'm
pretty
Chinese.
common. Obviously,
So
this
I
work
gotta-
schedule is not healthy, and
Hey,
seeing as
Japan,
both
yeah.
these countries have a horrible
Hey,
birth
Japan.
rate and a demography crisis coming up, they need
Yes,
to lock in
of
and
course.
do something about this. In China, they actually banned the 996 work system, so it's not technically illegal to do that, but China has a big unemployment problem among the youth to the point where a fifth of them are extremely qualified
That's
but
right.
unemployed. So a lot of these people will accept bad working conditions such as the 996 to have a salary and actually make money. So yeah, it's illegal, but like stabbing is illegal, but people still do it, you know? The standard work week is 40 hours in Japan, but a recent government survey
What?
found that 1 in 10 Japanese workers put in more than 80 hours
They
of
are so,
overtime alone per month,
consistent.
with 1 in 5 at risk of karoshi.
Okay.
And there's also this bullshit of pretending to like your boss and having to hang out with them and go to drinks with them. Man, I remember when I was in that call center.
This
Fuck
Japan-
that boss, man. I fucking hated his ass. If I had to hang out with that motherfucker, I would be wearing an ankle monitor right now. So genuinely saying which one has a worse work culture is a hard battle to decide. So instead of a chat face, they
It's
both
Japan.
get eye bags under their eyes now from
Japan.
overwork. But both these countries shine in technology. They're both extremely dominant in this field and extremely
China better. China better. China better.
useful to the entire planet. First of all, China makes everything in the world. Like
Yeah.
if you look around your
That's
house,
right, that's
probably
right.
like
China makes everything in the world. That's right, bro.
50 to 70% of what you see was
Like almost
fully made in
everything.
China. And China has gotten a lot better at general
Yeah, the
technology
right
because of their
The
massive
car,
government
the-
subsidies, making good cars, innovating on phones,
That's right, that's
electric
right, that's
car
right.
batteries, solar panels, nuclear
That's-
energy,
that's why
basically
they are
everything. And Japan, I'm worried about Japan's economy, you know, because all the wars in the Middle East have stopped. So their Toyota pickup sales must be down now.
Toyota?
Somebody start another conflict in the Middle East. You three need to
what?
lock in. Japan needs to sell pickups. But really, Japan is amazing at technology.
Nah, fuck
PlayStation
no.
5, Nintendo
man.
Switch, Sony TVs, Canon, and Nikon
Don't care about that. China makes everything, bro.
cameras, and basically everyone has these for photography. Toyota, Honda, Seiko,
fuck
and
that.
Casio watches. Also, Japan has been notorious for their amazing train system. But sadly, they
China
got
more
mocked.
trains.
And not only does China alone have 2/3 of the world's high-speed
You
rail
see?
network, but they also made faster trains than Japan
see?
recently. Japan does lead in robotics and precision
Like-
manufacturing, but China leads in like everything else, man. Like AI, 6G, electric cars, solar panels, and they're literally the only reason why solar panels are cheap now. And also, if everything made in China suddenly disappeared, most of the shit
That would be really bad if China didn't exist. That would be really bad. If China didn't exist, I will not exist as well.
In your house would disappear, and it would look like the True Detective house without the mattress. So while Japan put up a very good fight with amazing technologies, China does win this one. But who needs mass scale technology when you got the vibes, man? Japan is notorious for having the best vibes ever and just general aesthetic stuff. That's why there are weeaboos and not China-boos. China would have a very good chance at scoring points here, but Mao decided, I'm destroying the culture and
He's the best of the best. He's the best of the best president of China in history, bro. Not gonna say.
I'm killing pigeons. Fuck you. Japan just looks like the best place ever, man.
Shit.
I'm actually gonna apply for a visa to go there. It looks amazing.
no, bro.
And I haven't even watched anime in a while. Okay, like Tokyo is the coolest city ever. We all know this,
no,
but
man.
there are so many other gems in Japan as well, such as Okinawa. And this is literally just a tropical island. And just so many absolutely gorgeous little towns that has everyone
Doesn't matter, bro. Look this. The same shit, bro, in China.
soy facing. China is also beautiful,
You
but
see this right here? Like, I mean, come on, bro.
the real deciding factor is, would you rather travel to a Chinese village or a Japanese village?
Chinese village.
See, the Phoenix Ancient City in China is a cool
Village.
place. It's basically like the Kung Fu Panda as a town, and it looks very nice, but come on, man. Japan, bro?
Nah, just stop crazy in Japan, man. Come on, chill. Just stop crazy in Japan.
Also, if we're counting Hong Kong, because they're not mainland China, Hong Kong is fucking
Nah.
amazing. It's beautiful,
Hong Kong is
amazing
part of
public
China.
transport too, and someone told me that Tokyo is even better than Hong Kong.
Nah, no. That's not. It's not better.
Don't know if this is possible. Japanese embassy in Tbilisi, get in
No
contact
way,
with
bro.
me and give me a visa so I can see if it's truly better than Hong Kong. The only
Nah,
way
nah,
Japan
nah.
kind of fucks up its vibes is just some perv shit, right?
You own cats, right?
Yes,
And there's cats here too.
but they're not cats, they're teenage girls.
Wow.
So it's a bit of Diddy mode, but I guarantee Diddy wouldn't have gotten all this controversy if he had sakura trees in his backyard instead of beds on the basket.
Chill.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks.
Chill.
I start my brain up with everything I need to get.
Basketball court. But Japanese culture is absolutely amazing,
Nah.
especially after they stopped being fat.
Fuck this shit. Fuck this the part this is the part why I hate. The war. This is the worst part, bro. I hate this part.
That's when they really became cool. I don't know why they still use that flag on their navy.
The
Me
fuck, bro?
personally,
This
I would
fucking
strive to
flag.
change it, but
I can't.
I didn't make JoJo or Death Stranding or Berserk, so don't take my word for it. However, no amount of vibes and aesthetic pink trees can cheer you up if your economy is ass. All three of these countries are gorgeous, but then you look at their economies and understand why they're so angry. Lebanon having a black market currency rate, Turkey having their official currency rate, which is somehow worse, and Armenia having these real estate prices. I'd be mad too. It's a reasonable crash out, and China has been growing a lot
You see?
economically, and generally people
the
have
bad
been
part.
enjoying a higher quality of life. It is also probably gonna become the biggest economy on the planet, but
Yeah.
they have 1.4 billion people, which means their GDP per capita is less than $13,000.
If I go back to China, bro, I'll vlog. I will. I decided that. Okay.
Which means it's lower than Mexico, Kazakhstan, Chile, and Bulgaria. Because people living in the big
this-
cities
this
make
shit is
5
so
to 10
crazy.
times as
This
much
somehow
money
very
as
well.
people living in the rural areas. Of course,
mean-
most
When I was in China, bro, I live in the Chinese villages. Come on, bro. Chinese villages is good, bro.
places have this income gap, but usually not as much as China, such as Japan, which does also
the
have
fuck
an
up,
income
bro.
gap between big cities and rural areas, but nowhere near as much. And people in Japan generally enjoy a much higher quality of life with nearly triple the GDP per capita.
Ooh.
But the thing is, Japan's economy has been stagnant since 1991.
You
So
see?
stagnant in the fact that it's referred to as Japan's lost decades. For example, in 1993,
You see, bro?
Japan's economy was 4.5 trillion, and this year year it's 4.39 trillion. So like
What the
all
fuck?
these people are being overworked and the GDP is still not growing. It's a pretty bad situation, to be honest, and their currency has fell a lot in the last 10 years as well. But compared to like an average person in China, you would assume that
I
the
mean,
quality
come
of
on.
life is still better. So because this one is about just a normal person living and not the nationwide GDP or some bullshit, this one
But if I don't believe the villages like of China don't look like Japan, I will show you on the vlog, okay? I will show you on the vlog.
goes to Japan, but otherwise obviously would go to China. They make everything, bro. Now you guys know Japan as this cute country with a very cute flag that looks gorgeous, has
I will
these
show
cute
the
vending
fucking
machines,
village.
but there is a reason Japan is the only country in the world to have a nuke dropped on them, and it's because in World War II the shit they were doing was so heinous.
Hey, chill.
That a lit-
World War II? Okay, let's talk
German
about that.
Nazi heard about what they were doing to Chinese people
and tried.
to stop
was
the
it?
Japanese,
Okay, I hate
and the
this part.
Chinese were so thankful to this Nazi that saved them from at least some of the Japanese atrocities that they built a statue for him. He was just like, okay guys, we are evil, we have skulls on our uniforms, but come on, we're not that evil. And the Chinese and Koreans have a very bad opinion of Japan, and it isn't because of the typical
Yeah.
Asian racism,
Yes!
like this argument between two Asians, an Indonesian and an Estonian.
The Republic of Indonesia is made up of tens of thousands of islands, hundreds of cultures and
Chill the
languages.
fuck out, bro.
The Estonia is made up of beat and onion slop-eating Hungarians who polished
What the
the
fuck
cup
is this
of German
about?
horses for 1,000 years before being elevated to sapiens by the USSR.
It's because of the horrible things they've done to their neighbors, and the craziest
Bro, I
thing is,
swear,
Japan
guys,
doesn't
bro.
even acknowledge it. To this day, they deny it, which is fucking insane.
I
Every
hate
other
this part.
Axis member was like, oh, we did it and we're so sorry, but Japan doesn't give a fuck. A World War
Fuck, bro!
II General Secretary literally wrote a book named Fabrication of the Nanjing.
What the fuck? There's no fucking what the fuck is this? Are you
But not
serious?
only does he deny it happened, but blames the war on the Chinese. Or when the governor of Tokyo was being interviewed by Playboy in 1994 and said, people say that the Japanese made a Holocaust, but that is not true. It is a story made up by the Chinese. It has tarnished the image of Japan.
Stop lying, bro!
But it is a lie. Imagine if the governor of Berlin said this, bro.
What
It
the
would be
fuck?
fucking insane. But all of this does not matter if you're living in a society that isn't free. China does not get a lot of party switches. It's always just the CCP, and the main changes that
What the
are
fuck
their
is it?
policy changes. So they've been in power for 75 years straight. Isn't that crazy, guys?
that's so
While
crazy.
on the other hand, Japan's
But-
ruling party, the Liberal Democratic Party, has only been ruling for 69 years.
Holy
Take
shit!
that, China. They've been ruling Japan since 1955, except for one corruption scandal where they were out for a year,
hate
and
this.
between 2019 to 2012 where they lost and then immediately got re-elected. Also, in both countries, if you find yourself in a courtroom, you're cooked. Both China and Japan have a 99% prison conviction rate. Saul Goodman is not going to be able to
That's
save
true,
you. If you end up in a Japanese or a Chinese court, you are cooked. However, where Japan really beats China is the fact that Japanese people can go on YouTube and watch this video,
You
while
see?
Chinese people need a VPN to watch
You
this.
see?
The Great Firewall of China is a huge minus for
That's the bad part, bro. China block every social media. That's so bad. But luckily we got VPN.
me, honestly. And while they do have their own domestic
I know,
stuff
I know,
and
I
they
know.
don't need YouTube for jack shit, as a Chinese person, you wouldn't need that. It would still be nice if the internet wasn't censored and you could go on websites like YouTube, Google, and etc. Keep Elon's Twitter banned though.
Well, if they didn't block those social media, my whole family will watch me. Actually.
Please, Shi. I also don't like the re-education camps in Xinjiang, and generally Japan has much better laws on free speech, and they really have their hand up on this one. And this is a very big factor as well, you know, because it could be a vital to a lot of people on whether or not they fuck with the country. People leave their countries and their hometowns because their government is repressive or they don't fuck with the suppressive laws, so big up to Japan. But while the Japanese government wins this section, China executes their billionaires, which
Wait, what did he say?
judging by my personal experience with billionaires and now also looking at America, you know, I'm not gonna say anything about it, but there is a reason why Jack Ma is not in the same position as Elon Musk. Anyways, Japan still wins over China. But is this restrictive government worth it? Because Japan's economy has been stagnant since 1991 and China's has been growing. So they must be doing something right, such as China going from a rural poor country to basically a cyberpunk that also makes amazing technology and has also emerged as a dominant superpower instead of Japan. If Japan disappeared tomorrow, I would cry. And if China disappeared,
Don't cry.
every single thing would shoot up in price and everyone would be like, fuck, because this one country, China, manufactures 31.6% of the entire world's goods, along with doing a bunch of research that advances humanity, such as 6G and bazillion renewable energy research they've done, along with being the only reason behind solar power becoming better and cheaper. Without China, the entire world would be cooked. China is number one in trade, in steel production, in shipbuilding, in high-speed rail, number one car exporter in the world, in number one in drones, in rare earth metals, in nuclear power, in batteries, and in solar. It's not really a competition. China gets this one. Now, what you watch...
Let's go! China gets this one. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like. Peace.